Yes, hello, Omid. Thank you for the invitation. And anyway, I took a look at your challenge number 12, data normalization. It says in every decision making process, the first step is to normalize the data. I completely agree. For this task, simply divide each value by its column's total sum. Now, up to that point, I thought, this is exciting. I want to do this. But then the next line, you're saying just use a single formula. And that got me confused because if you're going to normalize the data, and this is the data that we want to normalize, and that is pretty simple. I'm going to talk about that in a minute. They're pretty simple to normalize that you want row and column, preferably starting from 1, 1, 1, 2, and so on up to here. You should have 36 rows of data in a normalized table, or in a table that and that would be normalized, that in a table, and that is what is called being normalized. And then to get the results that we need, we will then hit a query to get that result from that normalized table. Now that would be two steps, uh, which can be chained into one, but the two steps. And but your next line says just use a single formula, and that got me confused as to um, as to what you're asking. Now I realized that I got different results to your results, but I can see from the discussion thread that these results are not correct. So I'm not going to dwell on that. But so what I've done is, so this button will normalize the data. Okay, these buttons will normalize. I'm going to show you. Right, I click that button, and what I've got is in the same folder as the spreadsheet. I've got an Access database that's got a table, which I call table data. And if we look in there, there are 36 rows there, and these are, ignore this ID column, that's just a sequential number. But I got a column called R, which is for row, and column called C, which is for column. I got a column called the data, which is the data in there. So if you check, you can see that that's the right data, okay? So I'm going to put that away. And so that data is now normalized, right? Now, I completely agree with you when you say that the first step is to normalize the data. I've just done that. Now, I got another button here called the step 2, which is called get. And so those are the results. Those are the correct results. I've checked it. I've checked it by hand, my own hands, right? Not anybody else's, but my own hands. And so those are the results I get. Oh, I did also need to mention that how that data was normalized is by Excel using this query. Insert into data table, that's the name of the table, and RC and the data, and these values 6619, that would be the last one, right? Because it looped through, and that would be the last one. So, okay, so when we get the data, when we click get, step 2, all my spreadsheet is doing is going around these 36 cells, and on each one sending a query to my normalized table and retrieving these numbers, right? Now I'm not going to show you the code right now because that needs some explaining, some setting up, and I don't know where people are coming from, where to pitch this. It would, do I start from the beginning, or do I start from the middle? And which middle, right? So, all right. So basically, the way that I've done this, because in order to teach this easier, I have uh, each of these cells is looking for the value, which is 36, and the sum of the column. So basically saying, what is the sum of the 6 records that say C equals 1? All right, column 1, C equals 1, and so on, and all the way through to 96, and it's 36, and I got these results here. Now, the last part, the step two of this, I could have done in one of three different ways, right? I've chosen the way I'm doing it. We can either get all of the normalized data, all 36 rows, into Excel's memory, and then loop through it and then plonk it on there, right? Or do what I'm doing, which is to loop through and send a query for each of the 36. And if we're only dealing with 36, that's not insurmountable. So it's instantaneous, right? And Excel doesn't mind going looping through 36 times. I might and you might, but Excel doesn't mind doing that. So why worry? The third way is probably the most powerful, and I haven't done that. And it's a little bit more advanced because we can send a query that gets from Access the whole of the 36 in that 6 by 6 square, so that when it comes to Excel just needs to paste it. That would be the most powerful because it would be much more scalable, and it'll be, one hit, bang. Shall I do that again? One hit, bang, right? And that'd be the most powerful if you got, if it needs to scale to large numbers. But as I say, it'll take me a while to figure out the query to get it in that shape. So that's basically it. Okay, I've done this in two steps, but of course that's so that I can explain it to you. If these two steps can be combined into one, of course. So let's just do that again. Whoa, right? Now, again, as I say, I looked at the other answers, and I can't say that I understand them just by looking at it. And if someone would care to explain and run through the thought process for the other solutions, I'd be very grateful, because then I can put this into a tutorial that contrasts the different ways of doing it. And that's what we don't have. We have a lot of these challenges on LinkedIn and on the internet, and there are answers, but no one's really explained why they have chosen that way, and even how does it work. Just by looking at it, I'm going to pull out. Wait a minute. I'm going to pull out the. So I'm going to pull out the actual post, like so. And okay, so what would be really useful for me? You got 25 likes and you got 57 comments, and I would imagine that'd be 57 solutions. But it'll be really useful if the thought process is explained so that someone following can learn from it. And I'd like to learn from it. Like I said before on another one that I did yesterday, it'll be very, very useful to learn, and so that we can compare in what circumstances which technique is more appropriate. Because there isn't one answer, is there? I mean, there isn't one. I hear the expression best practice. I think that's a bit of a rubbish statement, because it's best practice for a particular person, for a particular situation, depending on what the requirements are. But I'd like to see some of these things, some of this explained. And if anyone at all out there on this list would care to explain to me the thought process, but particularly I'm interested in where does this statement here, the first step is to normalize the data, right? I'd like to see how that methodology does that first, and then runs a query. Because the query can be anything, right? I mean, that's one query, is the percentage worked out like that, but it could be something else. It could be, the question could be that cell as a percentage of this row. Okay? I know it's bizarre, but if the technique is flexible and scalable, then it should be able to accommodate any of those variations. And in real life is like that. Real life is like that. Real life doesn't come in a package, in a box with nice ribbons and, you know, pretty colors and pink. Do you like pink? I like pink. That's pink, isn't it? Look at that. That's pink. Pinkish. Pinkish. Anyway, so that's all for now. Thank you very much for the Omid. Thank you very much for the invitation, and I'm thrilled and I feel privileged to make your acquaintance. And so I hopefully someone will get back to me with some of the explanations for their own solutions, so that I can put them all into a nice presentation. And you'll become famous. You'll become famous as a result. I might become famous as well. You never know. I don't know if that's a good thing, but anyway, good morning, good day, bonjour, and enjoy lunch.